Welcome to Off Topic with Tim and Matt and Bill, our scrappy little sports podcast where we go off topic. Okay, we're not going to talk heartbreak just yet. That might be a different segment. Bill, you are a college football aficionado. Give us some feedback. What's going on?
Good day, gents. Well, it was an interesting day again yesterday. Some significant upsets, some maybe under the radar beats as well. I will say off the bat, I am 2 for 2 in predicting coaches that we're going to need moving vans. We wish Brian Kelly Godspeed from LSU. He takes his, I think 54 million and walks away hopefully to a beach somewhere. And the governor of Louisiana decided to insert himself in the new coaches search. So that's going to make LSU a very difficult destination for the next coach. So very interesting to see there. A couple of things that caught my eye. Miami goes to SMU, makes a lot of mistakes, and gets beat. And Carson Beck threw it to the wrong team in the crunch time.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be tough for Miami. They will probably stay in the college football playoff, but man, that was a tough one for sure. Georgia Tech got their balloon busted by a relatively weak NC State. So no more undefeated Georgia Tech there. And in the Arch Manning watch, he actually had a hell of a game yesterday.
Yeah, against Vanderbilt.
And they beat a really good Vanderbilt team. So 25 for 33, 3 TDs, no interceptions. That was a hell of a performance by him. And I think I think Texas is probably the worst 7-2 team in the country, but they're 7-2.
Yeah.
I tuned into that one, Adam, in the third, and Vanderbilt wasn't doing well. The quarterback seemed to put the team on his shoulders at that point and said, we're not going quietly into the night, which was impressive, but Texas just had it all firing on all cylinders.
They did, Matt. Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt is a special young man. He is a difference. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter, and they scared Texas, but Texas was the better team for 95% of the day.
Yeah. Will Vanderbilt be able to build on this season? I don't know if they're going to win a national championship, but can they build on the seasons for next year? It's going to be
absolutely
really easy with the NIL money just to get guys to go to Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I think it is, Tim. Again, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. What we're seeing here, there are a lot of universities like Vanderbilt that have had a lot of money, but had some ethics. And so they would not deploy said money, right, in a under-the-table fashion. NIL brings that money above the table, and so they can compete for athletes.
Yeah.
And I think Clark Lee, as a coach, is a strong coach. The biggest challenge will be keeping him, right? And because, there's, again, we talked about it at the Open. LSU's open, right? There's a bunch of jobs that are top-line jobs that are either available or potentially available. And so keeping him will be the number one priority.
Yeah. Indiana locked up their coach for another 4 years. He's just walking on water.
Yeah, smart move.
Nebraska, who lost to USC. Sorry, I'm having trouble with
USC.
It was a long.
Just remember, University of Spoiled Children.
Okay, there you go. They lost, but I know you talked about Nebraska riding the coattails of their history. They're actually doing a lot better. They're a better team this year than they were last year. and they have like a true sophomore quarterback in Raiola. And I think he's actually, I can't remember the name of the coach. He's building something there. And in this year, he's not going to do anything. Next year, he's probably a little better. Fourth year, probably in the conversation. But they locked him up for another 2 years.
And if corn futures go up, there'll be some NIL money out there too, right? So I think, they have that rich tradition that you can build on and you can fundraise on. So they're not completely helpless for sure. Raiola actually got hurt yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Pretty serious ankle injury. So he might be done for the season, which could be the best thing that could happen to Nebraska, honestly. As long as he's able to come back from the injury. But I think he'll be less in demand in the portal and have to, play another year to prove himself. And that could be the best case scenario for Nebraska.
Right. Gotcha. But there's always good, like, say, O-linemen out there that aren't going to get the NIL money and just want to play for a good school. And, Nebraska would be an option, right? I mean, a lot of the big flashy wide receivers and the tailbacks and all that, they're going to want to go to the USCs and, the Miamis and stuff. But if you're a grinder on the O&D line, I want to play for a good school with a good coach. Nebraska is a really good option, right? If your toss-ups between San Diego State or Northwestern, and you have Nebraska sitting there in Lincoln with 60,000 fans, it's not a bad option, and it makes it easier to at least recruit, not NIL, but at least recruit.
Sure, and I think that composition of talent on the front lines, and getting the right star players. That's why you've got general managers appearing now in college football.
Yeah,
because it takes some talent to kind of build that blend, right? So it's more than the head coach can do, frankly. So it's definitely changed for sure. It'll be interesting. I'm sorry, Matt, go.
No, do you have something else to add to that? I thought you were done.
Yeah, not really. I'm just, we're now on our first playoff rankings, right? They're going to come Tuesday.
Yeah.
So as we look at it, 9 SEC teams are in the top 25, 5 teams each for the Big 10 and the Big 12. So, this was a pivotal weekend to see who gets in. Ohio State definitely established their dominance, but I think Indiana is going to be all they can handle. So it'll be an interesting first week.
Yeah, Notre Dame won pretty good last night, so they're certainly in the conversation again. Yeah.
Yep.
Penn State. Now, they fire the coach. They're still in a free fall. They're not even really showing signs of life. Full rebuild?
I don't think it's a full rebuild.
Yeah.
They're going to need a quarterback. They're going to need some wide receivers, kind of those star positions. But what they really need is a more dynamic leader at the head coaching spot. I don't think it's a full rebuild. They've got the facilities. They have the money. So they're in good shape, but they need to get the right coach. And I hope that they don't just try to bring, Nick Saban back or, kind of a retread somebody else. Yeah. I do hope that they look at, like the guy at Tulane Summerall is one of the top coaching prospects, and with those resources could be the next Signetti at Indiana. So I hope they get somebody from that, that second tier that's a really, outperforming their resources.
But, I mean, there's got to be some NFL, offensive or defensive coordinators out there that really want to be a head coach who would love to go down to Penn State and prove themselves.
Sure. I think that's an option. one of the things that you're hearing more and more, though, Tim, is these NFL players are more willing to. They're honestly almost easier to manage than the college players are.
Yeah. They're not kids.
And yeah, exactly. They're not 18 to 23, most of them. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's, it takes a special kind of person to get that age group motivated and rowing the boat in the same direction.
Yeah.
So not every coordinator is built for that, right? Vic Fangio should not go back to college football, right?
Okay.
He needs to stay in the pros.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough.
Yeah. Right on. Anything else, college football?
I'm good for college football. Like I said, I've been distracted by baseball all week, so you got to hold my hand on this.
I could see that. It'll be, like I said, Tuesday's a pivotal day. We'll get our first bite at the apple in terms of what the college football player looks like. Next weekend, we start to get into the throes of the college conference season, right? Who's going to get to those college football playoff bowl games through their championship, et cetera, kind of setting that up. It's a free-for-all in the SEC, I think. There's 3 or 4 teams that could win it. Let's don't forget about Georgia. Georgia had a great win yesterday as well. They just keep, they're on the mat and they get up and they pound their opponent in the fourth quarter and they win.
Yeah.
That's really valuable when you think about a playoff type team. So.
Yeah. I mean, the playoffs in college football are no different than any other playoff. A team gets in and then all of a sudden finds their mojo and they start knocking big games off. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that gives the Cincinnati Bearcats a chance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
100%.
They lost late yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But, I use that Louisville, Cincinnati. They've always had good athletes.
Yeah, true.
Never have had kind of the elite status. In the old format, they never got a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could just make some noise in the playoffs. I mean, one team flukes off a win against Texas or Ohio, which is completely possible.
Then it's
suddenly
on.
It's completely wide open. Yeah. Okay. NFL, I caught a bit of Baltimore, Miami this week. I just hey, who can be worse?
That was a welcome back for Lamar Jackson. That was the therapy he needed to get back into the league.
Baltimore really showed that they're a better football team with that number 8 in the pocket.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, they came out there. They had some defensive players back. I noticed Hamilton's back. So it was one of those get right games for Lamar Jackson, for the Ravens themselves. And who better than to pick on than Miami, right? I mean, if it was the Jets, it would be the only thing better, right? So,
what is going on in Miami? Why are they so bad?
Well, first of all, Chris Greer promoted himself to customer, their GM, on Friday, and that was probably a wise choice. On his part. Tim, to answer your question, I just think they've put way too much into him. I don't think he is an NFL top line quarterback.
Yeah.
I said it.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because he shows glimpses of being dominant, but they haven't invested in their O-line. They haven't invested in their D-line. They get aging players on their D-line, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, that are coming out there, and some games they're on fire. Other games they're missing a step, and you got to have consistency in your lines.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Matt. I think that, especially on the defensive side, when these guys get to 32 and 33 years old, which, by the way, I think we can all agree we wish we were 32 and 33 years old, but they start looking tired, right? They can play 2 or 3 fantastic games, and then they just spit the bit on a game.
Yeah.
And that's just because, fun fact, being a defensive lineman in the NFL It's really hard work.
Yeah.
And after doing it for 5 or 6 years, it takes a toll on your body.
Yeah, not even counting university and high school. I mean, it's you know,
years of it.
We have our community leagues and our Canadian Junior Football League, 17 to 22.
Yeah.
And you talk to any of those coaches, like, what are you looking for in recruiting? And they just say O&D linemen. Those are so hard to find.
Yeah.
Because they just take a beating from 10 years old right on through. And by the time you get to the pros, I mean, you've already had nerve damage in your shoulder, and you can't pick up coffee mugs because your hands are so shot. I mean, it's just such a brutal position.
Yeah. And it's a thankless position too.
Yeah.
I mean, you get sacks, you get some recognition, but they're not talking about all the times where you're just throwing your body into a hole to stop a 300-pound or 220-pound running back from ramming into you.
Yeah.
Or an O-line who's trying to wrestle a 300-pound man out of the way. So it really is the most thankless job on the field are the lines.
Yeah.
So, and I think Miami, they got to invest more into it. Yeah. I mean, as a Chargers fan, I've watched it for years.
Yeah.
And we've invested a lot into it this year to watch one of them go down and have just a revolving door of backups because it's so hard to get good help there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Who else stands out for you there, Mr. Macri?
I didn't believe it to start, but I'm starting to really believe that the Denver Broncos are for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Bo Nix is really showing that he can take the team, put it on his back. That R.J. Harvey had a coming out party last week. I mean, that was great for him. The receivers are good. Their defense is solid. Pat Surtain is still one of the best cornerbacks. I think they're causing a lot of noise right now. They're the top of the AFC West. We're chasing them. My Chargers are chasing them. Yeah. The Chiefs are chasing them. So, did Bill freeze?
We've got you, Bill?
Oh, there
you're back.
No,
you're freezing on us. So. Yeah, well, I mean, we said in other podcasts, I said Denver, the Giants, and the Patriots can cause a lot of trouble this season. I don't know either. I mean, the Giants aren't going anywhere, but they can still knock off that one top team to make their life more difficult, right?
Well, they took another big hit with losing Scatterbo, right? I mean, they lose their running. They're losing their running game. They've already lost Malik Neighbors. Jackson Dart's doing his best to try and carry the team, but I mean, it's not going great for him either.
No. But Drake May, I mean, it's still, the Patriots are still doing okay.
Yeah.
For a team that's really not supposed to be there, they're kind of going above expectations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's sort of my point. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but they'll make a bit of noise. Tampa is surprising a lot of people. Buffalo surprising people. They got their mojo back against Carolina the other day.
Wow, they got
40-6.
They got the Chiefs this afternoon. So
okay,
I mean, that's going to be a real tough one.
Yeah. So
you look over at the NFC West, and I mean, this is Bill's favorite division. You got the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers are all tied.
Yeah.
Right? That's got to be the tightest division. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like they play very many divisional games. San Fran's 3-0 in the division. But besides that, Seattle's 1-1, and the Rams are 0-1. So I think that's a tight division right there.
Bill, do you think the 49ers made a mistake by giving Brock Purdy all that money? I think we lost him. Hey, Wayne?
Bill, can you hear us?
Blink if you're okay.
The man in the box.
Wayne?
Yeah.
I don't think he can hear us. Wave. Can you see us? Hello? No, I don't think he can see us. His media training tells him to be patient and not walk away.
I mean, the one thing. Okay, so let's just give. We can keep talking. Bill can join us when he reconnects there. The one team that you got to really look at strongly is the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the team that's going to cause the most noise, I think. They're 7-1 right now. Jonathan Taylor doesn't look like he's slowing down.
No.
It's crazy. He's just keeps running 3 more touchdowns last week. I think he's got three games with 3 touchdowns this year. Sure, 2 were running, 1 was passing. Oh my goodness, oh no. Right? He had 2
touchdown is a touchdown.
He had 2 other ones with 3 running touchdowns, and nobody had ever done that before.
Yeah.
To get 3 games in a season. So, I mean, Jonathan Taylor was awesome, got hurt, took a while to come back. I dropped him off my fantasy pools, and now I'm kicking myself.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. Daniel Jones really showing that he is the guy they thought he was coming out of college, but New York couldn't do anything in New York.
Yeah.
Right? And then he comes over here, he comes to Indianapolis, he's got a great O-line, which helps Jonathan Taylor run the ball.
Yeah.
He's got receivers who were underutilized because they got drafted the year after that Andrew Luck retired out of the blue, right? And they got that Tyler Warren, the tight end from Notre Dame, I think, last year.
Yes.
Tyler Warren, who is just a phenom.
Yeah.
He's going to be, I think if his career keeps going on the trajectory it is now, when he's done, he'll be in conversation to be unseating the greatest of all time tight ends.
Really?
Yeah, the way he blocks well to start, but he gets off his blocks and finds room to get open, like Travis Kelce. He can split the seam like Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And he's got that big body that boxes out like Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about the best of the best right there, right? It's very, very neat to watch somebody like that. So we'll see where that goes.
And forgive me for not remembering her first name, Jim Irsay's daughter.
Yes.
On the sidelines taking notes, and they sort of start grinding her a bit. She's like, I'm here for my dad.
Yeah.
I'm learning what I'm doing. I've inherited this team, and I'm going to do it properly. And she's not like Jerry Jones getting in everybody's way.
No.
She just stands there. She takes notes. She listens. She learns. She builds.
Yeah.
People are liking her.
Yeah.
And that kind of leadership doesn't come by very often,
No.
To have an owner to sit back and say, you guys do your job. I'm just going to learn and watch. And you guys keep doing what you're doing. That's pretty rare without getting in the way and being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the words that she said that really caught me was, "I'm here to honor my dad."
Yeah,
right. Her dad built something there, left it to his 3 daughters. The other 2 daughters, maybe I'm not going to say they're disinterested. They're not going to be involved. But this being, she's willing to commit her life to her dad's dream. And it's a good life. I mean, don't get me wrong. You look at Ford in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
She's been doing it since her dad passed away 50 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And she's as old as time, right?
Yeah.
And she's had a great life doing it. But if you're going to do it, you got to know what you're doing. You got to understand the terminology so the people don't speak over you, right? They don't talk down to you. If she's going to run it, she's going to do it right. And I like that kind of commitment to it. It's either get in the pool or get out, right? And she's jumping in both feet, and I love it. And the players appreciate it because they're coming to her with concerns, and she's taking note of them. It may never fix the concern, but it's at least someone's listening.
Yeah,
I think when you have a problem,
that's leadership. That's leadership. I feel listened to.
You feel heard.
I wouldn't worry about his knee.
Yeah, he I've
had 7 knee surgeries.
He gets injured.
I know something about it.
Yeah, he gets injured.
He'll be good.
Though.
Yeah. So are we recording?
He needs to.
We're recording. Okay, so let's go NFL.
Okay.
We're just going to start over NFL because I don't know what was saved or what wasn't. We're talking about top teams. You mentioned 49ers off topic, off screen, offline. Do you think Brock Purdy, you think it was smart for the 49ers to give Brock Purdy that money?
No.
Yeah.
I think he's an undersized NFL quarterback who has a ton of heart and good talent. I mean, he's a good football player, but look at the injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I think more and more, it's going to get harder for that 5'11" guy to survive in the NFL.
Yeah. He is 6 feet. He is over 200 pounds. He came with a lot better pedigree.
Last that are 6 feet and 200 pounds in the NFL.
But the thing that I see with Brock Purdy's dependent on his supporting staff.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
You know, a lot of quarterbacks are dependent on their O-line if they're a pure pocket passer or if they're even a running quarterback. But but they'll find running backs that they can hand to. They'll find receivers they can hit, tight ends they can hit. You take away Brock Purdy's toys, and he progressively gets worse, right? You look at Mac Jones. He's in there without any of those things, and he's making it happen. So
he is.
You know, is it really the system that Purdy fit into well, or is it Purdy himself? And I think it's the system.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan's a really good coach.
Yeah.
And he's made a lot of people look really good. You can talk about, does he win the big game all the time, et cetera, but he's a really good coach, and he's offensive minded, and he's kind of like Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. He can make quarterbacks a lot better than maybe they are in the system.
Yeah.
So speaking of better than they are, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah. They got a tough one today.
Yeah, they do. They got a really tough
and they're
one.
Missing
Who are they playing today?
More key players today.
Who are they missing?
It's actually the night game. Well, so it looked like
Washington. That's right.
They're going to be down Cooper Kupp.
Oh.
I don't think he's going to be able to play. They're already down a couple of wide receivers. It looks like they're down 2 guys now on the back end. They're beat up. They're going to have to bring their A game every place else. Nobody can get dinged up at all in order for them to win. They're going to have to run the football, and that means the offensive line has to decide that they want to run the football. If that happens, they're fine.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to throw any shade on the Seahawks.
Yes, you do.
Typically, I do. But you look at the losses are the 49ers and the Buccaneers. Both really good teams. Right. Their wins are the Steelers, the Saints, the Cardinals, the Jaguars, the Texans. Not really good teams.
Not really good teams.
Right. So, you know, they look better. Their record's better than they actually are. Coming forward, they got the Commanders, Cardinals again, but then they go the Rams and then the Titans. So they're going to stay in the conversation. They don't really hit any hard teams until the end where they go Colts, Rams, Panthers, 49ers. Yeah. You know, so their last 4 games is, I think, where they either make it or break it for the playoffs. In between, they've got opportunities. Titans, the Falcons, Vikings might be tough, you know, but those last 4 games are going to really tell whether the Seahawks are in the playoffs or they drop to 3rd in the division.
Yeah, and I think it actually starts. It's the evening game today with the Commanders, because you don't know which Commanders team you're going to get. Right. If you get the Commanders playing to their potential, the Seahawks have got a real game on their hands.
Yeah.
If the Commanders throw the ball to the other team, fumble it a lot, then the Seahawks should put them in the Saints class, and you're good.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking off camera, off topic. You like the Indianapolis Colts.
I love the Colts. I really do. I love the Colts. Jonathan Taylor was really good for one or 2 years. Then he got hurt, and he took a long time getting better. I traded him off my fantasy team, and now he's making me regret it. I mean, 3 touchdowns in multiple games this season. You look at Daniel Jones. He comes over from the Giants, and he shows that he wasn't the problem in New York. You put an O-line in front of him. You give him a running back to work with. Yeah, you had Saquon Barkley for time to time because Barkley was hurt often. You know, so you really look at that. But then you look at, you got the receivers, Pittman and Pierce, who were just coming in when Luck decided he was leaving. So they're good receivers that just haven't anybody throw them the ball. And then you bring in Tyler Warren, who I think is going to be in the conversation of one of the greatest. When it's all said and done, when his career's over, and if he's on this trajectory the whole way, he'll be in the conversation of greatest tight end ever. I mean, he gets open like Kelsey.
He's a difference maker.
Yeah, he blocks well.
Already.
He gets open like Kelsey. He can do the seam like Gonzalez, and he boxes out well like Gates. He's going to be in the conversation. Yeah. So
he was great at Notre Dame last year.
He reminds me of one of my dear Mizzou greats, who was also great for your San Diego Chargers, and I said San Diego on purpose, and that's Kellen Winslow.
Yeah.
You know, just that kind of a generational change.
Yeah. And I think him being the anchor in that offense of the pass catchers, you can have the Pierces and you can have the Pittmans running around out there, because you got to put two guys on Warren. And sometimes that's not enough.
And look, Pittman's a professional pass gobbler.
Yeah.
That guy's been good for a long time, and he's been relatively healthy for a long time. And like you said, he's been underutilized because they've had, somebody here in the lobby at the hotel playing quarterback for the Colts at one point. I mean, so, I think that the Colts are good. And I think this game tells you whether or not they're for real, because Mike Tomlin still can coach. I think he's still one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think they made a poor decision bringing Aaron Rodgers into that locker room. Not a fan.
Yeah.
But they had to take a chance. I get it.
Yeah.
But if the Colts win tonight, they're for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touching on Pittsburgh, I sort of understand what they did with Aaron Rodgers. They needed a bridge quarterback because the draft this year coming up is really quarterback deep. Last year, not so much. But he's winning a little too much. They probably would have been better off almost throwing their season a la Jets just to get that marquee quarterback. And, of course, Pittsburgh versus the Jets. If Pittsburgh gets a good quarterback, they have an amazing season, and the Jets are just the Jets. Like it's Cam Ward dying in Tennessee, right? He's playing it a little too well. I understand why they got him. They just needed a quarterback that wanted a warm body. But Psycho is actually playing like a normal human being rather than his psycho self.
Yeah,
well, he's got his moments.
Hold tight. Math usually works. And gravity is undefeated. And Aaron Rodgers will screw something up.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm hoping it's on the Sunday night game next weekend where he just completely puts it in the trash.
I wonder why.
He's going to the Hall of Fame, I'll tell you that much.
And he is. Like, he's been a great quarterback.
Well he should.
Yeah. He's been a great quarterback. He's been a great ambassador.
All kidding aside, he's been a great quarterback. You're right, Matt.
Yeah.
He's not been a good ambassador because he's nuts.
But prior to the CTE kicking in, and when he left the Packers, he was very good. But he's like, I'm going to go to the Jets. And even when he came to the Jets, he brought hope there. And I mean, what was it? The second play of the game, he blew out his Achilles, and all hope was squat. It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah.
It's like Ted Lasso says. It's the hope that kills you.
But I want to say one thing really quickly about Aaron Rodgers. And it's interesting. One of my kind of, nerdy interests, I guess, is actually helmets in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the technology around helmets in the NFL, in football in general, but in the NFL in particular. And there was a company in Seattle about 12 years ago, came out of the University of Washington, called Visis. And they came out with kind of a revolutionary helmet that has, in fact, reduced concussions, reduced CTE evidence, etc. And that helmet was made popular birthed by Russell Wilson. And Patrick Mahomes has worn one since his first snap in the NFL. And you can see it. It looks different on TV. It's not the Marvin the Martian, cushy thing on the top of the helmet.
Right.
3 weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers, who has been one of the last holdouts, he's wanted to wear his old Schutt helmet for years and years. Same one that he had at in Green Bay when he started. The NFL finally clamped down at the beginning of this year and said, you are no longer grandfathered in. You've got to pick another helmet. And for the first few weeks this year, he had a newer shut helmet, but still probably 3 generations behind. About 3 weeks ago, he went to the Vices helmet.
Oh.
So you'll see it today. And I think somebody has told Aaron, you've got soft noggin disease.
Yeah.
And you better protect the noggin.
Well, I was going to say it's closing the barn door after the horses already are out, right? But, you know.
That's fair, Matt. Any little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
And, he was an outspoken advocate for not having changes in these helmets and that his helmet was fine, yada, yada, yada. Somebody got to him. Just quietly. It wasn't announced. He just showed up in the Vices helmet.
Yeah. They made
good games this week.
Yeah, they had some really good games this week.
I mean, Chiefs Bills. Let's start there. Matt, which Bills team is going to show up?
That's the thing. Like, and also what Chiefs team's going to show up. I mean, they've been catching fire, and looking really good. But the Bills look awesome
against Carolina
week to week. And I think that's where today's game is going to really put the rubber to the road for both teams, because they're going to have to both bring their A games. I think New England and I don't want to take anything from New England, I think they came in thinking that New England was a gimme game, and they didn't realize they had to fight for it until halfway through the game. The Bills' other losses this year. What was the other one? I can't remember who it was now. Come on, Matt.
Find it, Matt.
Oh,
Find it.
The Falcons. They just looked completely out of it. They didn't even look like they were wanted there to play. And you have trap games.
Yeah.
Where you assume you're going to win before you play the game, and you can't take the foot off the gas in the NFL. Every team is a good team, right? So they did. They came back,
except for the Jets, but yes.
And Miami.
They came back and they took it out on the Panthers, and they got and like we talked about with the Baltimore game, that was a get right game for them, because now they've got the Chiefs, but then they get the Dolphins, Buccaneers, Texans, Steelers. They have some tough games coming up. So they've got to be hitting the road running here. And so they lay a whooping. They'd had their bye week, lay a whooping on the Panthers. Now they're going to see where they stand with the Chiefs. And I think this is going to be a real good measuring bar for the Bills.
There's such a thing in sports as a good loss.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you go into a team, we got this, they get it handed to them. It's a good loss. Because it's like, okay, we got to get this part organized and to get our head and ass into the game. And I think that's what happened with Buffalo.
Yeah.
They just had a crappy game. They took it for granted. We're Buffalo. I'm like, okay, no, we're not. And now it's like, look at the schedule we got coming up. Hey, we got the Chiefs. You know what? We can beat these guys in the regular season. Let's show them what we're made of. Let's let everybody know that Buffalo's still in the conversation. And, then the playoffs will start. We'll see what happens there. But for the meantime, I think Buffalo's going to be fine. They had some structural problems for a while. Their wide receivers weren't doing anything. Yeah. Josh Allen was supposed to do everything, and it's like they can't. So I think everyone's going to step up. You're going to see a very different Buffalo team against, an aging, beaten up, really past successful Chiefs team. Patrick Mahomes is not the GOAT. He's not Tom Brady. He's taking a beating. Travis Kelce is 34, 35 years old. He's taking a beating. I don't care how big he is and how much he works out. The human body can only handle so much.
Yeah.
And they haven't been drafting. They've been playing so well, they haven't gotten the big draft picks. And there's just not a lot there to sort of pick up the script when Patrick Mahomes just can't do it anymore. So I think Josh Allen, I think they can win this week. And we'll see what happens with the Chiefs, because you just never know.
You never know.
I think the Chiefs have been playing as the best team in football for the last 3 weeks. This is a test. for sure. But I would not be surprised if the Chiefs win again.
Yeah.
I'm not. I would not bet money on this game in the slightest. Right? I mean,
Nope.
you want to look at the last 3 weeks. He came out against the Lions, and hit the Lions in the mouth hard. Then they beat on the Raiders. Right? I mean, the only person that can't beat on the Raiders is the Jets. So,
Right.
We'll go back to the Jets.
yeah. And
The asthmatic kid in Jim's class. Okay.
And then they get the Marcus Mariota Commanders.
So bad, Tim.
I was that kid once.
I mean, their wins haven't Ravens and Lions, but when the Ravens and Lions weren't playing like the Ravens and Lions. The Giants, who I've got to admit, they beat my Chargers, but in a game where Joe Alt got hurt, right? And Jackson Dart had his coming out party. So, I mean, the teams that they've beaten haven't been great. This is a real yard marker for the Chiefs as well. And, I mean, since Rashee Rice came back, and let's get that straight. Rashee Rice came back from a suspension for committing a felony. He's not a hero returning from injury. Stop celebrating him, people. He's a felon coming back from a suspension for injuring 12 people in a car accident and running away. All right, so I got that off my chest. Since he's been back,
by the way, just for the record, the Denver Broncos are 6-2 and lead the division.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Let's not forget about them.
Bo Nix, yeah.
Bo Nix. Yeah, we talked about that, right? I didn't buy it to begin with. I did not buy it to begin with about the Broncos. And then Bo Nix has put the team on his shoulders. And he said, I will take half of this and do it. The rest of you guys, you worry about the other half. Right. Bo Nix is just on fire. Someone at the beginning of the season, I think it was week 2 or 3, was like, Bo Nix is a fraud. He was not as good as everybody thinks he is. Bo Nix is awesome. And I hate the Broncos. Bo Nix is pretty good. Sorry, I don't like the word hate. I am not a fan of the Broncos. They're in my division. They're dirty, stinking, knock us out of the playoff buggers. But
but he went there.
RJ Harvey had his coming out party last week. Pat Surtain is best cornerback in the league. He is. The Broncos are going to be a problem, and we're going to have to face them again. We already beat them once. By the way, Sean Payton,
he's a pretty good football coach.
Yeah.
He might have brought his little black book out again. So somebody look into that.
Yeah.
But
I always maintained Denver, Patriots, and the Giants were going to cause trouble this season.
Yep.
And I didn't think they were going to win and do as well as Denver is doing. But I always said they're going to be the ones you have to keep an eye on because they will mess up other teams' plans. So far, I'm kind of right. Giants, were doing it, but then Scadaboo got hurt, and they're still a 2-5 team or whatever the heck it is. But, the Patriots are well coached. Drake May's the real deal. Bo Nix played, 14 years of college football and some pretty good games in big divisions. Right. And so he was playing pro 2 years ago, and he only got drafted last year. Yeah. So look out. I always said look out for those teams. I didn't think they're going to win. I don't think Denver's going to win this year. I think it takes a lot to learn how to win in the NFL. A regular season win, as Sam Darnold will explain to you, isn't a playoff game. But they're a team you just sort of keep your eye on. Those 3 teams you just keep your eye on. Giants need one more big draft like they did last year. They won the draft last year, and I think they need one more big draft win this year, going for needs rather than best player available. And then another season they'll be in there.
The thing you got to remember with the Broncos too, and it's like I always got to throw this caveat in. They beat the Titans in week 1. The only person that hasn't is the Jets. They lost to the Colts. They lost to the Chargers. They beat the Bengals. Eagles was a tight game, 21-17. Their defense really stepped it up from there. Then they beat the Jets, 13-11. 13-11 against the Jets. That's got to tell you something there, right? They come out and they beat the Giants by having to score 28 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You know,
Quarter.
that was a miracle game where the Giants, I think, started celebrating after the third, and everybody was hitting the hookah pipe. You know, but then they come out, they beat the Cowboys, who aren't a great team. The Cowboys are a good offensive team. They'll put up a lot of points, but their defense isn't solid. So
their defense is also offensive.
Yes, exactly.
The best way I've heard it.
So, I mean, this week they got the Texans, who are hit and miss. You don't know what team's going to show up. C.J. Stroud as a superstar, or C.J. Stroud with his Justin Fields impersonation, right? Then they got the Raiders, but then it gets hard for them. Chiefs, Commanders, Packers, Chiefs, Chargers. That's where the back end of the season is going to really show who the Broncos are. And they got the Jaguars 100%. And the Raiders in there too.
Matt.
But, you know, they got 6 out of their 8 last games are against tough teams.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see who the Broncos are in the second half.
Yeah.
It's just, right now, 6-2.
6-2. There you go.
Enjoy it. You're 6-2. We're 6-2.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. We're 6-2.
100%. You got to give them props. You got to give them their props while they're getting them.
All right.
So, is there anything else, NFL?
JJ McCarthy gets back behind center today. It'll be interesting to see what Vikings are there for him. I mean, Justin Jefferson is still, in the elite class of wide receiver in the NFL. So if he can get him the ball, make the game right. Those are the ones that I'm kind of watching this week.
Aaron Jones back too. They got the running game solidified because you got Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. You always got Addison. You always got the what's the tight end's name? Mike, I can never remember his name.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but he's good. He came from Detroit. Oh, okay. So I'm not going to worry about it.
Hackinson, right?
Hackinson. There you go. Yeah, T.J. Hackinson. He's got weapons, and the defense is still good, and the O-line's still solid. So I think McCarthy's going to have a good game today. That's my prediction. Los Angeles is getting Puka Nacua back when he goes out there and shows everybody just how easy being a wide receiver is. He's like, you guys all make this look hard. Let me just make it look easy for you. Puka Nacua is just unbelievable. So
professional pass gobbler.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much, Bill.
All right.
Off topic.
Great to see you guys. Congrats to your
Bill.
Dodgers, Matt. And we'll see you next week.
Comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to Off Topic with Tim, Matt, and Bill, where we always go.
Thanks, guys.
Off Topic.
Take care, Bill.